Okay, so now I need to demonstrate you why we should be using pivot table calculated fields rather than the the calculated fields that are available in the data itself. So first of all, let me reduce the data that is available on our screen. So let me throw out the brand and let me bring in the country so that we have only 3 rows to focus on. And this is a duplicated column. We have this sum of total profit that was calculated as a calculated field, so we will be keeping it and we will be throwing out this one. So let me go there and let me throw out sum of profit or loss. So the next field that I need to bring in here in my pivot table is profit margin. But before I do that, let me show that field to you in the data. So if I go to this data tab here, this field is available at the end and this is profit margin. And how this profit margin has been calculated? This is actually profit divided by sales revenue. So we already have calculated profit or loss here, that is sales minus cost. And then in this field, what we have done is that, if I can just show you here, we have taken our profit and we have divided that by sales revenue, and we just then change the format to percentage. So I will go back to my sheet 5 where I have pivot table, and I will now drag this profit margin field here and I will drag it down towards the end so that we have this field available in this pivot table. Now the first thing that I need to do is to change the format for this field, and I will go here on the sum of profit margin, value field settings, and rather than sum I need to take the average because this is percentage and adding the percentage will not make any sense. So we will rather take the average here. I'll click OK and I will go there one more time and I will change the value field setting as well. So number format and percentage and 2 decimal, that is fine for me. I'll click OK and OK again. So now that we have these values in percentage, perfect. So I hope that one may think that it has done the job, but now I will need to show you the problem. And I told you that if we are using the data that is already available in the sheet, the calculated data, that will actually result in some problems. And I need to show that problem to you. So first of all, let me do this calculation manually in front of you on the screen so that you can see if the calculations that we have here are correct or not. So I know this approach is wrong of calculation, but before I do the complete calculated field, I quickly need to show you that there is a problem. So I will go here, I will click say this one. So I need to take the profit and then divide that value with the total of sales revenue. And here we have this 59.69. And if I just, I will have to do that process again. So I will go there again, sum of profit, and then I will divide that with, I will just divide that with this one here, sales revenue, and finally I will do that one more time, and that is sum of profit divided by total sales revenue, and press enter. And these values, if I can just convert that to percentage. Now this is not a pivot table field, so I will quick convert that into percentage by using this Excel tool that we have learned already in the previous Excel lectures. So this is the these are the new fields, and now you can see that our fields, our calculations do not match. The field that we have here, it is giving me 59.58, even though the data that is available to me right in front of me based on these values, it is giving me the percentage as 59.63, and same for the values below. So now the first question would be, which answer is correct? Now definitely if we look at this column here, the column F values, these are the calculations, these are the answers that you will get even if you solve this percentage on your calculator right now. So if you divide this value by total sales revenue, this one, you will get this answer, that is 59.63. And if I can just show you outside the pivot table, let me copy these values here and let me paste them as values here, paste special and paste them as values. Okay, so if I can just show you the percentage here, this value divided by this value, this is the right value, 59.63, right? So 59.63 is the correct value. But here, since we use this pivot table the data, the calculated field from the data, the answers are wrong. Now, rather than doing this calculation that we have just shown you in column F is hard coded, these are not dynamic, so these are not the solutions that we need, eventual solution that we need. So I will delete this one as well, and I will these are wrong. So now I will rather calculate the average profit margin using the calculated field, and for that I will go to Analyze tab here. I will click on Field Items and Sets and Calculated Field, and now we need to add profit margin. Just to remind me myself that this is a calculated field, I'm adding the CF here, calculated field, and I will say average profit, and the formula of that is going to be bracket that is so I will first go down there. I will say sales revenue minus cost. So you can directly use the profit as well, and that will be fine as well. If you use this profit or sum of total profit, that will be fine as well. But I'm doing the complete formula right from scratch. Sales minus cost, that will be profit, and then divided by sales revenue here. And no need to multiply that with 100. We will just change the field settings to percentage, and that will do the trick for us. So the average profit that we are going to calculate, in fact average profit margin, this should be average profit margin that we are going to calculate, is sales revenue minus cost, that is profit, divided by sales revenue, and that should actually give us the answer. So I will click on OK, and here we have this field here, and I will drag it down. In fact, it has already dragged it down for us. So we need to change the settings here so that we can see the right value. We already can see it here, but we need to see the right value here. So I will click on the sum of CF average sales revenue value field settings, and then I will go here on this. First of all, I need to take the average, and then in this average I will go to number format, and I will change to percentage. I will make it 2 decimals, and I will click on OK, and I will click on OK again. And now you can see that we have the correct values that we had just calculated manually just a minute ago. So now this column that was average of profit margin, that is wrong, and these calculations are correct when we have done that using the calculated field. So I hope that, in fact, the whole point of this lecture was to give you the insight that please do not use the calculations that are already available to you in the data, especially if those calculations involved percentages or division or multiplication. Now, final word, you may still like to know why this is wrong and why this is correct. Well, the average profit margin that you had used, that pivot table has given you in this column, is a simple average. Rather, the answer should be weighted average. And what does that mean? Let me explain you. 50% of $1,000 means something different than 50% of $10, right? So if you are talking about 50% of $1,000, that will have more weighting than 50% of simple $10, right? So when we are working on this particular column, Excel has given, pivot table has given no context to the sales amount. They have simply taken the simple percentage that was already available, and they have taken the average of that. They have not given any importance, any value to the amount of that figure. I mean the overall profit, the figure of that profit. So this is a simple average, and that should not be our answer. I hope this is making sense to you now. And finally, if you did not understand this last explanation, please do not worry about it. The complete thing that we need to follow is we should be using the calculated field from here in the pivot table, and that is all we need to know.